Hello, movie lovers. Welcome back to Apocaflix Movies. We're bringing this movie news podcast a little late because we've been a little bit occupied with a certain movie that came out this week, but we're not necessarily here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the movie news from the past week. And for those of you who don't know, this is Apocaflix Movies. I'm your host, Jacob Bartley, and I'm joined again by, you probably know by now, unless you're a new listener, Gio Ramos and Jake Berlin. Jake Berlin, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Glad to be talking some more movies. So.
And Giorgio Ramos, let him know what kind of shirt you're wearing and let him know how you're doing.
I'm wearing a LexCorp shirt.
Which is awesome.
That's right. I loved Lex Luthor and Batman v Superman.
Woo.
So I'll take it.
Damn, I didn't see that coming. Well, anyways, we're here to talk movie news. This is how it works. Gio Ramos picks the movie news stories throughout the week, and he runs them down for us. So, Gio, what do we got first?
So since Batman v Superman released this week, we're going to talk a little bit about it as far as what Zack Snyder revealed about what's in the movie, what's not in the movie. These aren't spoilers. These are just, this is the director coming out and talking about what almost made the film. So with that in mind, Snyder revealed in a recent interview that the Joker and Riddler almost made it into the final script of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. No details on the length of their roles, what kind of roles they would play in the movie, but the fact that these two were almost put in the film says that, to me, that a Batman solo film is coming pretty soon. So what do you guys think about, was it a good call? What do you think of Joker and Riddler?
Well, I'm curious because it really depends. Well, first of all, in general, I'm being cautious because I don't want to spoil Batman v Superman. But this is not really a spoiler. There's a lot going on in Batman v Superman, almost too much. So I don't think they would have necessarily fit in unless it was flashbacks, letting us get to know Batman in a way, like showing two of his biggest foes from the past, and that would help us understand him in the present day. So if that were the case, it could have worked. But overall, I love these characters. I love the Joker and the Riddler as characters, and I would love to see them in the future. Obviously, we're seeing Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad, and hopefully in a Batman solo film. And I would love to see a new incarnation of the Riddler in a Batman solo film, but not in this movie. So I'm glad they didn't do it, but it's interesting. I'm curious what context it would have been in.
Well, I think the Joker one, we can kind of all guess what it would have been.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Jason Todd thing we always talk about.
I think the whole Robin situation, because they hinted at it, like it could have been laid out somewhere around that scene or something in the movie. The Riddler one, if you've seen the movie, if you haven't, but it's also in the trailer, there's kind of a hint at him as well.
Yeah, well, there's a question mark. It's not a spoiler. It's in an image
and we don't
necessarily
know if that's towards the Riddler, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, there's like a question mark in an abandoned building.
Yeah. So, but as far as them being in the movie, we'll get to our thoughts later on the movie when we do our review. But I would not have liked to have seen it, even though it would have been the Joker, in a flashback scene. That may have worked, but like you said, the movie has a ton going on. And
it's funny because we kind of wanted to see it before we saw the movie, but after seeing the movie, you're like, no.
And it may have worked. The Joker thing may have worked. It may have made certain things work better. But I think it would have become a little bit too much bloated if they packed in two more villains alongside all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, these two will play a role later on down the road in the universe. We already know they exist. You can kind of feel their presence without them being there, with the Robin suit being burned and all the words. It's clearly Joker right there. And I'm curious too. The way a certain individual wrote that letter that Bruce Wayne got that said, "Haha, you let your family die." I wonder if he was curious about the existence of the Joker in that movie. The coincidence of how it's, written, right? Do you see where I'm going with that?
Are you talking about on the paper?
Yeah.
Well,
it's like, wow, he made that.
Be careful, guys.
Yeah,
be careful.
well, yeah. We know from that movie though that came from a certain character.
Right, but that character was probably like, okay, what's the
he's
best way to
familiar.
get
Okay,
underneath?
I hear you.
Like,
I hear you.
let me write this.
I mean,
like how.
Never mind.
Yeah, we don't want to get too far
We'll
into
get.
it. It's like,
Check out our Batman v Superman spoilers review, and we'll talk about
but
everything.
I hear what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying because it would make sense that way, and it would have tied back to that particular character. So I get what you're saying.
Well, moving on, let's stick with Batman v Superman for a little bit. Zack Snyder revealed some things that we can expect in the Ultimate Edition, which will be an even longer cut than a 2-hour, 30-minute theatrical runtime. So he says there's a little bit of action, there's a little bit of violence that we trimmed out for the MPAA. The Batman warehouse rescue, a couple shots of Doomsday that were too intense were taken out. There's a longer ending, sort of an ending sequence, and the opening of the movie is a lot different. And I'm trying not to spoil what goes on. So, according to Snyder, it was all cut out for timing, which you can only imagine how long the ultimate cut will be. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
We had kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but it sounds like Zack Snyder's theatrical release of Batman v Superman isn't his version. Like, it sounds like they wrote the script and they filmed the script to be the Ultimate Edition, but had to cut it back for obvious reasons. And, you know, he's backing these like deleted scenes so much in the Ultimate Edition of the movie so much, it almost feels like he's not comfortable with the theatrical release in a way. Because they're talking about it so much. Like, it was talked about so much before the movie even came out. And it's like, oh, the Ultimate Edition, the R-rated cut, whatever. And but as for the scenes, I mean, yeah, it may make the movie a little bit better. It's going to make it longer, obviously, like a half hour longer, 45 minutes, whatever it is. But to me, like, the feeling I get from the comments is like he has more confidence in the ultimate cut than he does the theatrical release cut.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, Jake. I read these comments, and it's almost like, I mean, it's not like studio interference like Josh Trank in Fantastic Four, but it seems like he talked about Watchmen too, and how he kind of had to fight with the studio with the end, how that movie turned out. So I feel like the same thing happened here, but we didn't hear about it. We didn't really hear any drama, but I applaud that because every movie has drama behind it, and it's up to the studio and the director, and it shouldn't come out. Like, we and the public shouldn't know about the drama, you know? And then we hear about it, and then we have a negative perception on the movie itself. So I'm glad that no negativity came out, but it does seem like he's subtly being bitter about it.
Yeah.
So
that's a great word. Great word.
Yeah. So it's weird because the movie's 2.5 hours long. So how can they possibly have put more? But after seeing the movie, I'm like, maybe the movie would have made more sense if the things that he wanted in there would have been in there, but then the movie would have been 3 hours long. So I don't know how to feel about this. I'm actually really curious to see it. Like, I'm going to buy the Blu-ray no matter what. So, and this makes me want to buy it more. So I'm down.
The only reason why this movie is not 3 hours long is because, one, it's a large investment for Warner Brothers, and they need to make their money back, so a shorter runtime. And Snyder even says it himself, like, this is all just for, you know, the function of time, you know, like, they want to get it at a time that works, that makes the studio comfortable enough to where they can play this movie a certain amount of times. And the second is because it's Batman v Superman. Now, had this film had like a $90 million budget, then, I think the studio would have been a case of Deadpool where we just let you do your own thing. But, if the Ultimate Edition ends up being pretty good, like a significant improvement, will you guys' opinions change, and will the critics' opinions change about the movie? Like,
no, because I don't know about this movie, but every movie in the past that has had deleted scenes, none of it's canon. So we have to go by the theatrical release because that's the movie that was released to the public. And yeah, like, it may be better. Like, we saw, you know, everybody talked about the Watchmen unrated director's cut. Everybody talks about the Wolverine unrated director's cut. But again, those aren't the movies that all the audience members have seen. So you kind of have to still keep in mind that the theatrical release is the Batman v Superman they released to the public.
Well, it's interesting for a standalone movie, like anything that's not involved in a cinematic universe. You know, the director's cut that has extra scenes, like it doesn't really matter because canon is irrelevant because that's just a one movie. So you can watch that director's cut, and if you like the director's cut more, you'd be like, okay, this is the version I prefer, and I'm gonna pretend like this stuff exists. But with a cinematic universe film, there's the deleted scenes and the stuff that was taken out is not canon technically. So, and for everyone who doesn't know who canon is just basically official history within that universe. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be cool to watch them, just like the Star Wars ones.
Yes,
it's gonna be cool to watch them, but ultimately, they're irrelevant other than enjoyment for fans.
Well, just to add on that, like the theatrical cut, I feel like is like you said, general audiences won't know what the ultimate is, right? I feel like, and maybe you got the same impression with your friends, the general audiences, for the most part, like this movie. They were entertained. Right?
I think so, but that's totally cool to me.
I'm not saying great. I'm saying they were like entertained.
But
you know, they didn't mind.
to us, we kind of, I talk about this with my friends all the time, but we kind of think differently when we go into movies.
Yeah, definitely.
And they go in it as fans, and we've talked the fanboy goggles, and like they want to see big action and these superheroes going at it, where we're looking at stories and character development and everything. So yeah, audience members, they're gonna love it. We saw that. We've seen it twice, and both times the audiences love it. Like they clapped.
And look at the audience score on Rotten
yeah,
Tomatoes,
so it's definitely.
What's the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's like 75.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
much
okay.
higher. So
no,
it's,
I mean, I tell everyone I talk to, you know, they ask me, how was it? And I say, you'll like it.
yes,
Exactly.
Yeah,
everyone I talk
exactly.
to, because I'm
Exactly.
like, it's very entertaining, I think.
It's a fan movie.
But-
it's not. And they've been talking about it. You know, the actor. It's not made for the critics. It's literally made for the
And
fans.
it shouldn't be made for the critics. No movie should be. It should.
Exactly.
You should just seek out making a great movie in general, you know?
And I was just gonna add that I feel like the Ultimate Edition will be for the fans, like for us, you know, because he knows that we're gonna watch it. He knows people that we listen, talk to about movies, that we see read comments. They're gonna be the ones looking forward to the Ultimate Edition, and maybe I'm thinking it'll.
Are you saying it's for the diehard fans
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
the people who are
I
in
agree
the
with
movie
that.
circle
I
like
think,
us?
I think either the diehard
Yeah.
or Zack Snyder himself.
Okay.
Because I think because of how big of a movie it is, I feel like he just kind of wanted to get everything he could out of it.
Yeah, and I still have respect for Zack Snyder. I think he doesn't lack effort when he does his movies at all.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to another part of the DC Cinematic Universe. An official image for Wonder Woman has released online, courtesy of Entertainment Weekly. So in the photo, Wonder Woman is shown in what looks to be her battle armor in that time, right? In 1918.
Well,
I mean,
we
like-
don't. This image could take place years before that.
Okay.
We know that the movie's taking place in World War One.
Okay.
But this scene could take place like years before that.
Okay. Now, how do you pronounce
Well,
these?
we're gonna see around this timeline. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll stop there.
That's all right. The photo also includes her mother, Hippolyta.
Yeah. I don't know how to say her name.
I'm trying my best.
I don't know how to say her
Okay,
name.
Hippolyta, played by Connie Nielsen, and her what's described as her military aunts, General Antiope, played by Robin Wright, and Antiope's lieutenant Menelope, played by Lisa Loven Kongsley. So you got Wonder Woman, her mom, her military aunts. They're all badass. What do you guys think of this first photo, fresh off Batman v Superman?
I love it. I'm super excited for the Wonder Woman film. Like it's gonna be one of my top anticipated films for next year, and I think Gal Gadot, at least visually and physically, fits who I want Wonder Woman to be. So, and this image shows it. Like she looks amazing, first of all, and it's just cool because you know we see all these comic book movies and these action films, and even if an action film is led by a female, all the other characters are male. And we're getting this movie where the main character is going to be female, and most of the supporting cast is going to be female too, and they're all going to be badasses. So, and I already knew that, but just seeing this photo gets me super excited for it. And Gal Gadot's really attractive. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It looks great. It looks great. All the costumes look really good. I love seeing Robin Wright in there. I think this is such a different role for her, especially with her after doing her work on House of Cards for the last 4 or 5 years. Connie Nielsen as her mom. She's most known for her role in Gladiator, which is awesome. I love the comments from the director Patty Jenkins that were involved with the images or the image, talking about the costumes and what they tried to go for, and it really hits, as well as how they described the relationship between the characters, saying that her mom is trying to protect her, and while her aunt is trying to prepare her for war or whatever else is coming. So that conflict's going to be really interesting to see play out in the movie. And like Jacob said, it's really cool seeing an all-female centric cast kind of be the focal point in the beginning of the production, because we haven't seen a official image of any of the male co-stars yet, like Chris Pine. It's all been female centric, which is really cool, because they do play a huge part in this world of Wonder Woman. But yeah, as far as the image goes, it looks great. It's exactly what we want to see from Wonder Woman and the home of all these characters. So yeah, I'm definitely in. I loved it.
Yeah, I definitely really like this photo. It all looks great. The costumes too. Looks like Patty Jenkins is capturing a tone that fits within the DC universe, which is awesome. Looking forward to Robin Wright. If you guys haven't seen House of Cards, she is phenomenal in that show. And
She's his wife, right?
Okay. Yeah, and she season 4, she had a big hand in writing and directing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I only watched I'm going to get to House of Cards. I know everyone says it's great, but I've only watched the first 2 episodes. But
Oh, it gets good after that.
I know.
yeah. So let's move on to the last topic of DC Comics, and it's a pretty exciting one. So the Lego Batman official trailer has released online. The spin-off film of the Lego movies, directed by Chris McKay and stars the voices of Will Arnett, Michael Cera, Zach Galifianakis, Ralph Fiennes, and Mariah Carey. What'd you guys think?
It was so much fun, and I think I've watched it a few times now, and it kind of gets better every time you watch it. I love the opening. It's him on the mic talking about how he directed, choreographed, scored the entire movie, and then he's saying Batman out, and he goes, wait, Batman back in, and he drops the mic, and then it goes to the actual footage of the trailer or the movie, and they gave you just enough to let you know what this movie's going to be about, without giving anything away. The whole Echo with the Batcave and him, I saved the city. It was off the chain. Just the dialogue.
That's amazing.
It was a lot of fun, and obviously the ending is him in the Batcave with a microwave dinner. It's or lobster, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And they've always said, we're going to see, not only can Batman be happy, but we're going to see him in the Batcave in his downtime outside from saving the city. And the trailer really gave the vibe of that. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Lego movie yet. I've only seen it once. But I'm looking forward to it. It seems like a really good time. I'm looking forward to seeing all the rest of the voice cast. Zach Galifianakis as the Joker and so on. But as for the teaser trailer, I had a really good time with it. It was fun.
I absolutely love it. It's amazing, and I'm a huge fan of the Lego Movie. And I've watched the Lego Movie multiple times. I own it. I let Jake borrow it. He's gonna watch it sometime soon again. And are you guys ready for this? After seeing the Lego Movie a bunch of times, it's in my top 10 animated films of all time.
That's understandable.
And that's because it fits my sense of humor. So I really love it. So understanding that, going into this, and Batman's obviously a highlight in that film, I freaking love this. I'm so looking forward to it. It's crazy. I can't even think about, does it come out next year?
February of next year.
Yeah. I can't even begin to think about it, but I can guarantee it's going to at least be in my top 15 most anticipated. So it's incredible. All the things you said, just the opening of it is great. Some of the little things he says, and he's just, that moment with the lobster, he's just standing in front of the microwave. It's I don't know how long it lasts.
Funny.
It's 15 seconds
it's
at least.
Superheroes microwave their food too. It's
yeah, and one of the big things from Batman in the Lego Movie is that song that he has bumping in the Batmobile, and it's parents dead or something like that, and it's like a hardcore emo like screamo rock song, but then the movie opens with him doing like a rap song. So it's like we're gonna get so many different genres of songs from him, I feel like, in this movie. And Will Arnett is the perfect voice for a Lego or like even an animated comedic Batman. He's the perfect voice for it. So I'm totally looking forward to this.
I agree with all of you guys. All right, let's move on to another casting, one potential casting. But it's still exciting. Daisy Ridley, the star of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and
Who?
upcoming Episode 8. Oh, the love interest of Finn.
Oh wait,
No.
no.
She fin zoned him, right?
Wait, Finn has a
Anyways,
love interest.
So Daisy Ridley
Captain Phasma?
confirms talks for Laura Croft role in Tomb Raider. She confirms that she has talked with some people about the possible Tomb Raider reboot. No director or writer is currently attached. So what do you guys think about the idea?
As long as they don't cast John Boyega as her love interest, I'm totally down. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is perfect casting. If she does get cast as it totally fits. She's a badass. She's an action star. She's a really good actress. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I echo everything you said. I mean, we've talked about it a few times, but I think she'd be a perfect fit for a younger Laura Croft. It's a very different role from Rey, but at the same time, it's kind of similar as far as action and everything goes. We've seen her chops in Star Wars. We've only seen her in one movie. We don't know what she can do yet. It'd be another opportunity for her to showcase that. I would like to see her in some kind of drama down the line, but why not lock in another franchise after a big hit? And it's kind of almost in the same way as Jennifer Lawrence started out with X-Men and Hunger Games. She kind of nabbed those two down and then eventually went to the drama route. So it'd be a great fit. If it happens, I'm fully on board because obviously she was the standout of Star Wars. So.
I think it'll happen, but like all these other studios, they're waiting to see what happens with Warcraft and maybe Assassin's Creed. Because once those two become hits, which I think we all do think they'll be good movies, you're going to see so many properties get the green light under studios. So I think it's a very fitting casting. I don't want her to suffer how Jennifer Lawrence is right now as far as, being oversaturated. People feel.
Oh, okay.
Like
It's true. Very true.
calm down, Jacob. Okay, that's all I was just gonna say. Okay.
Well, among like the public eye,
That's
Yeah, not
what I
among us,
said.
but among everybody.
That's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we know she's arguably the best actress working today. Arguably.
Yeah. So, but right now she's on a good path. She has Star Wars Episode 8 filming. And she has talking about these roles. It's good for her. So our last news topic, let's take a first look at Valerian. Director Luc Besson, who did Fifth Element, Lucy, and he did The Professional, right?
Yeah, he's done a bunch of other small things that really aren't are unknown.
But really,
Yeah. And he's also written a ton of popular projects.
Okay, so we have our first photos of Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne in Luc Besson's upcoming sci-fi adventure, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, based on the comic book series from the 60s, which served as inspirations for Star Wars, Avatar, and The Fifth Element. This is a big film that began over 3 years ago and is set to have over 2,400 FX shots. For comparison, Avatar had 2,500 FX shots. So as far as visuals go, this film, you guys can tell by the photos, it looks, pretty badass. So what do you guys think of these photos, the costumes, the cast, just the idea of another sci-fi adventure movie?
Well, Luc Besson as a creative mind is like pretty much a genius from all the stuff he's done. But, I was not a big fan of Lucy, and I was really looking forward to it. Scarlett Johansson is one of my favorite actresses working today, and it looked freaking awesome from the trailers, but it was a big disappointment. But putting that aside, the thing that gets me excited about this movie is the two leads. As far as young actors go, Dane DeHaan is one of my favorites. I think he's going to be a freaking, maybe not like a superstar as far as blockbusters go, but he's going to be a superstar as far as winning Oscars and drama performances go. And I've actually really grown to appreciate Cara Delevingne. She was good in Paper Towns, even though she was barely in it. But she's freaking super hot, so I am excited for these two leads. And I I think Dane DeHaan deserves more opportunities to solidify himself as a movie star, and this is going to be one of those chances. Just hopefully it's good, because that's going to determine his place, whether people take him seriously or not as a movie star.
Yeah, I kind of echo everything you said. Again, the two leads definitely get me most excited. Dane DeHaan, he hasn't been in the public eye as much, but he's kind of been tearing it up on the indie front. There's a couple movies he's done. He did one with Daniel Radcliffe.
Kill Your Darlings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's kind of been doing that, but again, I think he deserves much more.
Oh, he's great in Lawless.
Yeah, he's all around talented. And Cara Delevingne, she's, she could be one of the.
She's getting there.
She could be the model to actress that actually works.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she showcased some of that in Paper Town. She wasn't in it as much as we thought. But she's in the upcoming Suicide
and we'll
Squad.
see Suicide Squad.
And she could, from what we know, she could end up being like one of the main focal points of that movie.
Yeah,
it could
she
revolve
looks
around
great
her.
so far.
So that definitely gets me excited. Again, I kind of same thing with you, Jacob. I was really looking forward to Lucy. Kind of disappointed with it. I like Luc Besson's vision on everything. It just never really pans out how it should. And luckily, this is going off of a blueprint from source material. So maybe that'll help it out. But I'm always down for these type of movies, sci-fi, big, all that kind of, that realm of movies. So yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting the feeling that Luc Besson was more. I mean, this project began over 3 years ago. I feel like he was kind of more focused on this than he was Lucy. Could you say that after watching Lucy?
I didn't know he had this in mind for 3
you can
years.
see that it's
so
all there, but
but then why would he even make Lucy? Which is, I don't know, maybe just because Scarlett Johansson and she was hot at, or she still is hot at. I mean, not physically hot, like hot in her acting career, but she's both. Anyways, I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, let's going away from news. We're gonna do our Showdown Sunday recap. Every Sunday, I write a Showdown Sunday that pits two movie-related characters, directors, forces, films together, and you guys decide who's the better. For this one, since Batman v Superman was releasing this week, and I kind of wanted to go away from the obvious, Joker, I wanted to put two villains against each other that not only, in my opinion, were served great by great performances from great actors, but also the characters themselves, their motivations, why they were evil, their development throughout the movie. And for this Showdown Sunday, DC related, I chose Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins against Michael Shannon's General Zod in Man of Steel. So I want to get your guys' opinions on who was the better on-screen villain, considering performances, development, character motivations, so on and so forth. Which one hit you more? So.
This is actually a pretty hard question. It's much harder than I thought it would be after thinking about it. And, I kind of lean towards Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. I almost went with General Zod, but I started thinking about it, and he was developed a little bit better in his movie. I know he came back in the third one, whatever, but his motivation behind everything and the fact that he made Batman who he was is pretty strong. General Zod, I mean, he was a great addition to Man of Steel. How he countered Kal-El and all that kind of stuff, but I just think Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul had a bigger impact on the overall storyline and the movies going forward. And I know General Zod, kind of has an impact going forward too, but it's not like Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. And how can you kind of go wrong with the dude that plays Zeus? Trains all these people, all this. But anyway, so yeah, I pick Ra's al Ghul over General Zod, but just slightly.
This is tough, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because we don't want to run this podcast too long. But I really love Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. It's, Batman Begins is one of the best comic book movies ever made, in my opinion, and it's partially because of Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. But to me, and I just watched Man of Steel recently, like the day right before we watched Batman v Superman on Thursday night, and to me, I said this before, I'll say it again, General Zod is one of the best comic book villains of all time. This General Zod in Man of Steel. First of all, Michael Shannon's performance and also the character, the way he was written. He's evil from our perspective, but if you pay attention to Man of Steel, all the babies that were born in recent memory were born. They were all made to do one thing. And he was made to be the military leader of Krypton, and he was made to protect his people. And his motivation is so great and so strong. The way Michael Shannon delivers it is so amazing. And we always talk about how villains don't have layers and they're not fleshed out enough. If you watch that movie again, he is so fleshed out and he has a great motivation, and he's just, I don't know, for me he's like top 4 villains of all time in comic book films.
He's strong.
Yeah,
he's strong.
I really enjoyed him, and so I'm going with Michael Shannon as General Zod. It's
Yeah.
tough though. You can't.
I
It's
mean,
tough.
It's tough. I gotta go Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. Just the impact he had on the whole Dark Knight trilogy. His motive. He's more relatable on a human level because of how he lost his love, and his ways of justice kind of changed due to his tragic past. And he also, like you said, he had a hand in Batman, upright, and also Bane, right? A little bit of Bane.
Yeah. Oh, that's very true. And Talia al Ghul.
Exactly.
So he was
he's
fluttered
around in that
yeah.
whole series, you know.
Yeah, and he was also, so he was kind of given more to do because of the films, and his character was given more. So, but both are great, guys. Check it out on apocalypsemovies.com. Showdown.
Wait, who did
Sunday.
you choose?
Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I just really quick. Zod has a similar effect because what Superman does at the end of Man of Steel defines Superman going forward.
Very true. Very true.
So it's similar, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I have to say, guys.
All right, well, we're going to close this out with one segment that we have not done in a while called Open Mic, and Jake is going to go ahead and take this. He has an open mic for us, so go ahead and Jake.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit. It's something that you guys may have heard, but it's kind of an interesting question. With all the talk of a young Han Solo and then the official announcement of an Indiana Jones, I wanted to get your opinions on, could they cast the same actor for both movies? A young Indiana Jones, a young Han
that's a great
Solo.
open mic. I mean, we've talked about this before.
Because Harrison Ford did it, why not kind of pay homage to that by doing the same thing? So, say they cast Taron Egerton as young Han Solo, could he be a young Indiana Jones?
Taron Egerton, yeah. But it all depends. Like, if they go the unknown route, like, I know Taron Egerton is kind of unknown. I mean, audiences kind of have an idea because of Kingsman and Eddie the Eagle. But if they go complete unknown, I don't think so. I mean, that would be a lot to give a young actor. You give him both Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Like, we're talking about 2 really big properties here, Like, how pissed off are people about Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull still, That just shows you how passionate that fan base is. So I think it might be a little bit too much. But if you get someone in there like Taron, who's kind of already been in business for a couple of years, has worked with some really good directors, someone like him, yeah, sure, I'll buy it. But as for an unknown, a fresh actor like Daisy Ridley fresh, I wouldn't do it. Just
Look, I'm neither really for it nor really against it, but I'm okay with it. And it does depend on who they cast, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, I might be biased because I'm really digging Taron Egerton so far in his last 2 films, and so I would kind of, just because I like him so much, I want him to play both roles. But think about this though: if they do cast someone as this, those 2 franchises are going to be their entire life going forward. Not only for the rest of their lives are they going to be remembered. If the movies are successful and they're beloved, they're going to remember these characters. They're not going to be able to work on any other movies because they're going to go from filming Han Solo films, especially if they do multiple movies that have Han Solo in it, and then obviously the Indiana Jones movies are going to be multiple films. So maybe if Han Solo is a one-off, and then you have him in other anthology films, then sure, but it's going to be really tough on the actor's filming schedule. But putting all the technical aspects aside, I would be totally down with this. It would kind of be just paying homage to Harrison Ford as those 2 characters. So I'm totally down with it, especially if it's Taron Egerton, like you said. Taron Egerton could probably handle it. I don't know if maybe what's the dude's name from A Hail Caesar?
Alden Ehrenreich.
Like, can someone jump from being a complete unknown to like that type of level of scrutiny right away? Like, I don't know, but I'm cool with it. I'd be down.
Yeah, I'd be interested in it as well. I have the same feeling with you. It would take up a ton of scheduling time, obviously for like the next decade or so, 15 years. But it would also depend on how, like, what the plans are for a Han Solo movie or character going forward, or young Han Solo anyway. Yeah, I just thought it was a very interesting question because,
Yeah, definitely.
like, could Disney pull it off? You know, kind of paying great homage to Harrison Ford and the characters he is known for, and I would love to see that. I think it'd be really cool. But again, you know, it would just depend on a lot of variables. So yeah.
Good one.
That's an interesting open mic. I've thought about that recently, and I've heard other people talk about it, but I did not see it coming. All right, well, that's going to do it for Apocaflix movie news this week. Thank you all for listening, and please, if you have any thoughts on any of the subjects that we talked about throughout the whole entire podcast, please let us know in the comment section what your thoughts are. I want to thank Gio Ramos for gathering the movie notes and joining us today. Gio, let them know where they can find you online.
At Twitter on GioRamos24 and ApocaflixMovies.com. Check out Rumor Central, posting this Tuesday.
And I want to thank Jake Berlin for joining us today and bringing up an awesome open mic. Where can they find you online?
Twitter, Instagram, at Qui-Gon Jake with 2 N's. ApocaflixMovies.com every day.
2 N's?
Check out the Padawan podcast and our awesome Daredevil review.
Oh, yeah. Go check that out. And you can find me, Jacob Bartley, on Twitter at @JacobBartley_ on this Apocaflix Movies YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button. Until next time, you all take care.